this right here, baby, because some of y'all be acting like y'all don't be seeing it. But, baby, playing victim in a situation that you created, oh, yeah, baby, that's narcissistic as hell to me. Hello, somebody. How you gonna create the storm, then get mad when it rains? How you hurt somebody and then get mad that they hurt? How you damage somebody, go outside your way to destroy a person and then get mad when they no longer want to deal with you? Baby, playing a victim in a situation that you created, oh, baby, that's narcissistic as hell to me. I'm sorry, but it is.
Do you know how many people say things like, they make me so angry? What do I hear? I have given my power and my emotional state over to someone else. They make me so angry? That would imply you don't have a choice in the matter. When you emotionally mature, you choose how to move your energy, which does not mean you're not without emotion, and it does not mean that you do not experience different kinds of emotion. What it means is you take responsibility and control for how that gets expressed and what you do with it.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well this evening. I was going to go live a little earlier and I, pop around right before I go live just to make sure there's nobody that has something interesting. Anyways, I saw Justice for All was going to be going live at 7, so I ended up pushing this back until 9 just to give him an opportunity because he was going over Summer Wells stuff. And, it's just been actually a pretty good day this Sunday. Many of us were in church together. It was great this morning. And, of course, I've been very busy, made some chicken tenders. Weren't those things scrumptious? They were even better. I made them like it was a little spicy, I went, it was probably right about, the flavor of like a spicy Popeyes. I don't know if Church's does spicy, but just something like that. It's not too overpowering, but it just gives you just a little bit of heat on the tongue. Anyways, it's nice to see you, Jennifer, first in here keeping Bullhorn Betty's eyes propped open. She was my toothpicks. Pebble, it's nice to see you. Emma, nice to see you, honey bunny. Sonia, good evening to you. I know people are probably getting a little crazy, like what in the world's going on with Betty? Like, does she have problems today? Nah. It was Sunday, and I haven't been on very much. And of course, it's a weekend, but I took off a couple days, actually several days last week to handle a multitude of things. I've been so extremely busy last week. It's nice to see you, Stephanie. Good evening. I don't want to miss over anybody. Let me go back. I was just kind of scrolling. I don't know what I was doing. Probably because it's so late. So just bear with me, right? Just bear with me. Ruby, it's nice to see you. I hope your daughter is doing well. I have to say, I did say some prayers for her today at church. And you know what? I was thinking after I got off my live yesterday, as scary as that was, you're lucky. It's lucky that we don't think of it like that at the time, but it was only 22 stitches. It could have been so much worse. And we cover a lot of really ugly stuff on here. God bless your daughter. But I was thinking, I always try to find the silver lining in everything. And, I think the silver lining in that is, thank God it was only 22 stitches, So I didn't know what really happened, but I know it's scary on the roads. I've been in a few wrecks. I've had neck surgery. I've got back issues. Those are things that I will have to deal with for the rest of my life. It's not fun. But nothing's worse than having stitches like on your face. It's hard. It's hard. So we're definitely praying for her. Oh, Lady O, it's nice to see you. Colette, Courtney, M&M Racing smells like a rose. Who else do we have? Cynthia, nice to see you, love. I'm getting through it. I don't know why my mouse is a little sticky, but it is. That's okay. Lulu's, Nana, it's nice to see you. Big boy. Hey, honey. I hope you're doing well. JJ in the house. So it's nice to see you guys. It really is. And sorry again for the late live, but like I said yesterday, I knew I was going to go live today. I just wasn't sure when. And I was kind of waiting for something to come in. And, I talked to you guys about this last night, about the email that I received from Allie and, her asking me to look into this and try to help and whatnot, and gave me, and I applauded her because, she didn't just give me, a synopsis of what was going on. She gave me a synopsis of what was going on. She gave me links to, articles and everything. So it was really, really, just to get my curiosity sparked. And so I started really kind of digging into this, and it's not getting a whole lot of attention. And I think that's really what's sad, because, there could be a number of things that happened to Layla, but there are some major concerns with this particular case. And I really wanted to bring her photo, bring her story to this channel and ask the counterparts, other social media people to please start looking into this. And we need to find her. There is a possibility that she is alive and needs to be helped. So we definitely want to, a lot of our cases, we already have, it's already in poor, grave condition, and the outcome is very grim in some of the cases that we cover, the majority of them actually. Here's one where there is a possibility that we, if as a collective group, who's all in here? Hold on, let me say. There you are, the real Me Too. It's nice to see you. Hindsight, it's nice to see you as well. Good evening, folks. Good evening. It's nice to see you all. It's nice to see you all. But I saw Justin talk about her. Good. Yeah, and when I did look, there were like some smaller channels that ran with her that I saw. I couldn't remember. I think there might have been one major, somebody that had, over 10,000 subscribers run with this. I could be wrong, so I don't want the creators coming here with pitchforks and say I covered that case. Okay, I'm sorry. I only did, I did my once I have their name, I really don't look at other people's YouTube pages. I try to stick with facts and information to formulate my own opinion about what is going on. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that I'm sure there were a few people that ran. But anyways, long story short, Allie reached out to me and really asked me if I could just look into this, bring awareness, and pleaded that this case is just not getting enough attention. And when I look, it isn't. Here's some things that I do know. There was not a Reddit thread. There is no Facebook missing group for this young lady. And, we're not going to approach this as there's not extenuating circumstances or anything like that. So, there is the possibility that there might be a drug element there. There is a possibility that she may have gotten with, a group of people or a person and went out and partied. So there's that. That's why I'm kind of hopeful and believe that there is a possibility that Layla is alive and just needs to know that people are looking for her. So we want to pass her face around. We want to pass her picture around. We want to do our part on social media. And I know that there are some channels running with it, not a whole lot. And this is in an area of Kingsport. If you guys are wondering why that name rings so familiar, it's because Kingsport is where Summer Wells was at earlier in the day before she disappeared. That's where the water hole is. That's where the Walmart that they went, the Sonic that they went. That was all in Kingsport. That's where Hunter lives. That's in Sullivan County, which is right next to Hawkins County. And if you guys recall where Dawn Wells and where Summer Wells disappeared, they're on the tip, the lower end of Hawkins County. Not lower end, like just the county lines. They're on the lower end. They're closer to Sullivan County than they actually are to the heart of Hawkins County. So that's why they're always commuting over to Kingsport. And this is one out of Kingsport. And this is a young lady that was 20 years old when she went missing. She since has had a birthday. She was not around for that. Her mom, her friends have not heard from her. She was last seen at the Americourt Hotel in Kingsport. And so I just wanted to show you guys some things about her. So this is the young lady that I'm speaking of. Again, her name is Layla Santanello. And she went missing. It was very unclear when she went missing, but I did finally find a report where she went missing on June 26th. In the reports and all the newspaper articles, again, not getting a lot of attention, not even local attention in the Kingsport area, which is really, really sad because she's young, she's vibrant. It sounds, again, there could be a lot of things that are going on, but we just need to get her picture, her name out there. Now, on the flip side of that, this also could be very, very bad. And here is why I'm saying that we need to be cautious. And anybody that has any information, I know we've got a lot of people that do their own little side investigations in here. Look into this, please. And any information you find that you think is relevant to the case, please send it over, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Again, she was at the Americourt Hotel in Kingsport, and we're going to go over some articles here. From my understanding, there may have been at least one person cleared already, which, if that's the case, again, that is rumored. I'm not sure if that's true or not, because I haven't seen that in any official report that there was anybody cleared or spoken to or anything like that. I'm just hearing that on back channels. And if that is true, it's good because at least they are, at least they're taking this seriously. They're interviewing people, they're clearing people. That means they're taking it seriously. Now, what is making me say that this might be really, really bad? It's because it's no longer with just Kingsport PD now. Now they have TBI involved in this case, and there is an active endangered person, a missing person alert out for her. So that means it rises to a significant level for them to be able to get that endangered person alert out. And that's what's so concerning for me. No one interviewed that I saw. Okay, thank you, JJ. Thank you for the clarification. So that is really the nuts and bolts of it. And there's not a whole lot of information even out there, which is what's concerning me the most about this. And I hope that everybody here, I know you guys go to multiple channels on different types of platforms that you like. Make sure you're talking about her and screenshot this photo. and start passing it around in your groups, in your missing person groups, and in the places that you go, because somebody may have seen her and she might just be out, not even realizing people are actually looking for her and are very concerned for her safety. So if the more people that see her, maybe somebody will come forward. Maybe she will come forward and say, look, I'm not missing. I don't want anybody worrying about me. You like Twitter. Thank you, JJ. I don't want anybody worrying about me. I'm safe. I'm fine. I'm off with friends. I needed a fresh start, whatever the case may be, that very well may be the case. However, I'm just starting to get a little concerned when I found out that TBI was involved, and now, she's on the endangered, when she's been on the endangered missing person case alert for, I don't think it was right away, but there was a point when she was put on it, but I don't know what that time is, because again, not a whole lot of information out there on her. So we need to do our part and get this information out there on her. So we're just going to go over this article right now. I had it put on her photo, but this is in Kingsport, Tennessee. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is now working. This is on August 4th, so they must have just started working on this with them. But it says the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is now working with the Kingsport Police Department in the case of the missing 20-year-old Layla Santanello. Layla was reported missing by a family member concerned about her welfare in June. I have since learned that it is June 26th. Let me see if I can make this just a little bit bigger. I noticed that it's not really that big on your end. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get this not too big, but at least big enough so you guys can read along with me if you want. For those that are, hearing impaired or whatever. So in June, the last her mother, which is Jennifer Santanello, heard from her daughter Layla, told her she was staying at the Americourt Hotel in Kingsport with a friend. Okay, be safe. I love you, she texted back. I love you even more, Jennifer said. Jennifer said she didn't think much of it at the time because her daughter's very independent, but since then there have been no leads on Layla's case. She says the family and authorities have been checking on every tip they receive, still no answers. She says family members would even go back to Americourt parking lot for days just waiting on her. You know what this reminds me of? And it breaks my heart. But this reminds me of Kylan Schulte's dad, Sean Paul Schulte. Remember, he lived in Montana, and when his daughter was murdered, he went and sat out in Moab, Utah with a tip box and was willing to talk to anybody. He just sat out in a park on a bench with a sign, hoping that somebody would come in. It just, it just reminds me of that, because they're still no answers. They go to the parking lot, sit there for days waiting on her, and she never comes back. It's got to be heart-wrenching for this family. So anything that we can do to help, let's do what we can. It's kind of been like stages of denial. It's fine. She'll be home. She's out there somewhere, Jennifer said. And then sort of shock where like you're just numb. And now I'm kind of angry and want to make a lot of noise and want people to help. Layla's a mother of a 2-year-old daughter, Nova Grace. And there's a picture of her and her daughter. I don't think she would leave Nova. I really, truly don't believe that, Jennifer said. Layla loves her. I don't think she would just leave town on her own accord without Nova Grace. The family will hold a vigil at Bullhorn Park, and this has already happened, by the way, just to let you know. I believe it happened yesterday, as a matter of fact, at 8 p.m. for Layla. And Jennifer says Bullhorn Park is somewhere she always brought her kids and a place Layla really enjoys. Saturday is Layla's 21st birthday. So you guys can imagine just how hard this is. It's a scary, scary thing, said Jennifer. But I'm still holding on to the hope that she is in fact out there somewhere. So again, they're asking you if anybody out there has any information. Yes, JJ, thank you. Layla's birthday was yesterday. If anybody has any information, you're asked to reach out to the Kingsport Police Department at 423-343-9780 or the TBI tip line, which we're all familiar with from the Summer Wells case, and that's 1-800-TBI-FIND. And I'm just doing some, cursory reviews of everything. And I thought this was interesting. Her mother is posting a lot, as you can imagine, there's nothing like a mother's love for her child. And she is literally just, appears to be going crazy. And she's, as you can imagine, I can never even imagine, you try your best to identify and what have you, but you just never really can. It says, we will not stop looking until we find Layla and bring her home. Our family and all our friends truly appreciate all the support and kindness already shown. It's been more than a month since my world was turned inside out. I never imagined it would go this far or that I would have to ask for this kind of assistance from the public. On June 27, 2023, my daughter, Layla Marie, vanished without a trace. She is a white female, 4 feet, 10 inches tall, weighing 115 pounds. So she's a petite young lady. I mean, she's, I don't want to say fragile, right? Because, I don't think just because you're a petite young lady, you're fragile, but it just gives you a perspective. She's 4'10" and 115 pounds. And there's some pretty scary people out there. So just, she's small and petite. She's a tiny thing. Her hair color was bleach blonde with dark roots at the time of her disappearance. Layla was last seen at the Americourt Hotel in Kingsport, Tennessee, wearing black leggings and a white tank. Oops. She has multiple tattoos. Most notable are the Roman numerals on her collarbone and her daughter's name, Nova Grace, written beautifully down her left forearm. Layla is a beautiful, creative, loving soul who has touched a lot of lives. She is Spitfire with a larger-than-life personality, described often as wide open as a youngster and the extra as a teen. I know is loved and cherished by so many people, especially myself, her father, her stepdad, her stepmom, and her 5 siblings. Most of all, her 2-year-old daughter, Nova Grace. I need to be able to put an end to this for Nova's sake, y'all. No matter the outcome, Nova deserves at least the ending to this tragic story. She should not have, oh gosh, I'm getting goosebumps. Whew. Nova deserves at least an ending to this tragic story. She should not have to grow up with what ifs, maybes, or open-ended questions. I'm working with other families and friends to get help, to get the word out to anyone and everyone. We need your help. The family is begging for help. The family is begging for help, guys. Okay? We need a help. All of us, across social media. Put your petty squabbles down and let's put this out there. Let's come together. Let's work together and let's get get help for this family. Besides sharing Layla's story, you can share these pages to help raise funds to pay for all the costs associated with searching, upcoming vigil, private investigation, flyers, poster, lawn signs, costs associated with putting parties together, etc., as well as help our family during this incredibly difficult time. If you have seen or heard anything at all regarding this case or anything, please call the Kingsport Police Department 423-243-9780 229-9429, and yet another photo of her daughter. This is a mother that is literally begging for help. This case is not getting enough attention. It just isn't. It just isn't. And I know it might have partly to do with her age, maybe the location she's at. She was at a, not so good hotel. So here is the fundraiser. Let me drop this in the chat, guys. Copy this. This has been confirmed as the fundraiser. So if anybody would like to help, and we always do, even the people that can't, $1 will do, $1 will do. If you can't afford anything, but you can afford $1 will do, and, you got to remember $100, right? $1 by 100 people is $100. That can do that can make a difference. That's a box of flyers. You know what I'm saying? That's a box or two of flyers. So everybody can do their part if you can. If you can't, you know what you can do? If money is tight, the best thing you can do is be word of mouth, right? You can do something when you feel you can't do anything at all. And sometimes that word of mouth is more powerful than $1. So those that can't pass her name around, talk about her in chat rooms, create conversations about her, get her name out there. This is a mom that, and there's a lot of people in here that are moms. I am a stepmother. I am a grandmother. I don't know what I would do right now. I would literally be sick. I know you guys are thinking, oh, Bullhorn Betty, it's easy. When you have to deal with this, you can't think. You cannot think. I had to go through some major catastrophes in my family. In the most notable one was my stepdaughter's fiance when he got killed on the motorcycle. I remember that terrifying moment, that time when she called me and she said, Mom, I slipped on the floor when I was trying to answer the phone, and I called him back and he's not answering the phone. And then somebody sent me a screenshot of Facebook saying, "Rest in peace, Rabbit." And I'm like, calm. And she was just hysterical. And I remember trying to be calm and calling him. And I'm like, I just remember looking at Vince and saying, Vince, this isn't looking good. And I went to the page and started seeing all this stuff on the page. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not happening. But I'm telling you, when you go through that, you can't think. You're not, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, everything's it's like a dream, but it's weird. I don't know if that's the shock of it. I don't know. But all I can tell you is that this family is, you got to think, she's searching for her daughter now. This is serious. You're talking about missing work. She's also taking care of her 2-year-old daughter. A lot of stuff is going on. So anything that you guys can do to help, whether it's $1 will do or passing her photo around, let's just, come together and make a difference, at least for this family. That's what we can do. Now, just to let you guys know where she was at, again, don't judge. Don't judge. You know what I'm saying? Don't judge. It looks good on the outside, but I've checked out the reviews, and the reviews are not very favorable. This place is pretty, from my understanding, pretty run down. So the element's not good, which makes me a little concerned for her safety. This would be a prime place for somebody to ST somebody, you know what I'm saying? And HT somebody. So we want to be cognizant of that as well. We know that it exists. We know that this is near Hawkins County, and we know the kind of despicable people that live among the good people, right? There's a lot. Summer Wells opened our eyes a lot about the proclivities of a lot of those mountain men out there, and it's not a very wholesome proclivity to have. It was pretty disgusting, and it seems to be pretty widespread as well, at least in Hawkins County, because we have so many RSOs out there. It's not even funny, and that is a grave concern, and a great concern, because she's not here, and it is possible that, I'm going to kind of dovetail why it is possible that something else could have happened to her that's not, not grave related, which gives us hope, right? I mean, it does. This case, it does give us hope. Right now, I'm not in that mindset where I know almost, 90% the reality of this, the ending of the case. Usually when I read stuff, I have a good idea and a good understanding of what's going on. This one here, I'm not getting that vibe, which is a good thing. But this is why I say that it really isn't like the we know it's not the Taj Mahal, of course, but you expect places. But this was one of the places I remember. I think I looked at the reviews and was considering, because when we were going out for Summer Wealth, we went out there a lot. And so we were always looking for a clean, affordable place to rent. And I think I would never go into this place because of the reviews. And this, the reviews, if I tell you anything about this place that she was staying, the reviews sucked. This place, this one says, you get what you pay for. I was in need of a place for one night, but couldn't spend $150 for one of the other available hotels. The desk clerk was great. The location was close to where I was going. Lots of dining and shopping options. But even though the room was clean, it felt like critters were going to come out as soon as I turned the lights off. So, and this is, that's not, it's like that everywhere. The front desk staff was friendly. So they obviously have friendly staff, but they don't have the best cleaning crew. But either way, it really doesn't matter. The bottom line is she was at this hotel. And this was the last place anybody had seen her prior to her disappearance, to the best of our understanding, to the best of our understanding. Why is this one? Oh, there we go. Let me get back up here. And so this is just another one, just basically, again, not a whole lot of information. All it says is Kingsport woman has been missing for more than a month and there's still no answers. Layla Santanello, 20, was last seen in Kingsport on June 27th. This one says June 27th, but one of the other ones said June 26th. So I must have had it wrong. So we'll say June 27th. I've got June 26th on my list. Maybe I'll find out where that came from. But it sounds like Mom knows, and it was in Mom's post. So I'm going to go ahead and take June 26th off and put June 27th. So she was last seen on June 27th. I love you even more. And that was the last thing she sent me. Layla was seen at the Americourt Hotel, and that was the reviews that we had provided to you. Layla's mom, Jennifer, couldn't wait. Layla's mom, Jennifer, says Layla couldn't wait to be a mother. Being a mom is something Layla wanted for a long time. She was very excited when she got pregnant with Nova. She really loves that girl. So she's really laying a foundation that, she wouldn't just walk off and leave her daughter alone. And again, there are some concerns for me because of the simple fact that she is, that the TBI is now involved and there's an endangered person alert out. It just, those are concerning. When me covering these cases, I expect those in certain cases. Oh, hey Amy, it's nice to see you. Let me go through here. Where's Summer? Oh, hey, where's Summer? I hope you're doing good. I hope she's found too. I really do. But again, I can only do so much. I rely on a lot of you guys to make sure that these cases are talked about. The high profile cases are always talked about across social media. It's these smaller ones where the families are crying out for help, that really are just pulling at my heartstrings. And when I was reading this one and kind of going over this case, it felt like there is possibility. Elizabeth says drugs. Of course, there's that possibility. There were some photos that I did see online that, that or maybe some alcohol. But either way, we are on the heels of the Gilgo Beach, serial killer, and it just gives me bad vibes all the way around. And it is possible that there's drugs. We don't know what's going on in their life so far in all of these news articles, that it's not being stated that way at all. So either she, doesn't have a drug problem or an alcohol problem, or they're just not discussing it at this time, maybe because it's irrelevant to the situation. I don't know. I could only assume one way or another. So when I have to assume, I just take the approach of looking at it in both lights, that she has no drug problems and no alcohol problems, and also that she does have alcohol and drug problems. And we look at the avenues of both of those. So it could be that she was just homeless and down on her luck, or just living out of a hotel. We really don't know what the situation was or what brought her to that hotel. There's not a whole lot of information in the news, and why she needs her family needs so much help, because there isn't a whole lot of information on her case out there. And maybe with a push and some interest, maybe they'll start picking up, on maybe a larger platform. Maybe we can get more of a national conglomerate that picks up this story and starts running with it. I just right now, it's just trying to stir up some interest on this case, to start passing her face and her name around, just to get her some attention. Her family is begging and pleading. And again, her mom, I can only imagine from reading that last article, appears that, she feels bad because her daughter was independent and probably didn't talk to her, probably talked to her regularly, just not every day. And so she just naturally thought that her daughter, would be coming right back. This probably, for a certain moment, when you have children, like my mom not hearing from me for a few days doesn't alarm her. She won't just pick up the phone and call me if she hasn't heard from me in like 2 or 3 days. But by the 4th or 5th day, if she hasn't heard from me, you bet your butt mom's calling and saying, hey, what's going on? Or, just wants to call and talk, find an excuse. Like say, oh, did you see this story? But moms are moms, right? So I think there was a point when her mom started saying, wait, this is really not feeling good. This is really not feeling good. And now we're to this point, and we really need to find out where she is. And with her mom's concern and that statement, no matter what, when she was saying, even this, even if it's a tragic ending, it breaks my heart, because, it's like moms, I don't know what it is about moms, but they kind of know things. And I always ask for the parents' gut. If I ever have an opportunity, I always ask for the parents, what's your gut, especially the moms. They always want to hold out hope, but you can always still tell what they believe, even with their words. And that last article we read kind of it just makes me, I feel bad for her mom. I feel bad for her mom. Her mom's preparing herself for the worst. And if it becomes the worst, there's no preparation there. You could prepare yourself for a year, 2 years, 10 years, and it'll never prepare you. No matter what, we always support her and guided her in any which way that we were able to. Layla's stepmom, Brittany, said. Point is, she hasn't called. She hasn't called me, says Layla's dad, George Emmett. So I know something's wrong. Family members are holding on to hope and sharing a message for Layla, wishing her to return home safely. I'm not giving up. I'm coming to Tennessee to find my daughter, says George. Oh, I just want to know that you're okay and that you're out there somewhere, adds Jennifer. I can't imagine having to live the rest of my life without you. Oh, God, this just breaks my heart. It truly just breaks my heart. So upon my research, and this is just one last little tidbit. Yeah, I know, right? And even though all of these articles, oh, let me get this. I didn't even realize this banner is still on here. Let me get that off there. And I didn't realize, but then I, of course, just kind of still looking around, just looking at anything and everything that had her name on it, I came across this, and this actually holds a lead. And it kind of worries me a little bit. I have to be honest with you. So, this is where I got the 26 was on this one here. That's why I wrote down the 26. Here it is right here. See it? That's where it's at right there. But this is a Gov website. It's called, hold on, let me go back up. It's called National Missing and Unidentified Persons System. It's a government-run website. And so she actually has her missing person number in this national site, and that is her number. And so it says last contact 626, but that's obviously wrong. And she went missing at 20. She's now 21. She's only 4'10". And again, 4'10". They've got her weight at 135 pounds on here, but we heard her mother say 115 pounds. So there is that. This was created, so it sounds like her endangered person alert was issued just recently on August 1st. But here's the kicker. I'm going to have to make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you guys can see it. Maybe let me give you guys the whole screen so you guys can see it better. I want you guys to read this. There it is. See, circumstances of disappearance. Do you guys see that right there? Let's see if I can move this over just a little bit and just blow it up just a little bit more. There we go. Right there. Layla was last seen at Americourt Motel. We already knew that. According to, this is what we didn't know. This is what we didn't know. According to two separate witnesses, she was wearing a white tank top, black leggings, and no shoes. Layla appeared distraught and was observed running into a nearby tree line. So there is, I believe, the most update information that they had, because this is the government website. Now, the date could have been a fat finger issue because the 7 is right next to the 6. So we can blame that on a fat finger problem, right? Your fat finger accidentally hit the wrong button, right? But this circumstances of disappearance, this is, here, I'll drop the link so you can check it out. JJ. There you go. That's her missing. And this website here is, it's called National Missing and Unidentified Persons System. It's an official website of the United States Government Department of Justice. See, it says that right here. That's about as far as I can, that's about as much as I can. Oh, maybe I can scan it just a little bit more right there. An official website of the United States Government Department of Justice. So I have to think that they got that from an official report to put that information in there. And that's, oh shit, sorry. Hopefully you guys didn't see that. I was pulled something over that shouldn't have been there. But Layla disappeared distraught and was observed running into a nearby tree line. And I think that is why her mom is scared, because, this is information that was not, or, very concerned, because this was not information that has been posted in news articles or in the newspaper or even on Facebook. Again, there's no Facebook page. I did have one of my people set up a Find Layla Sorry, find Layla I keep forgetting her name. Santanello. It's a long name. I want to say a Santello, but I can't even think that. But it's Santello, but it's Santanello. What does it say? Megan Boswell's trial supposedly to begin. Oh man, Megan, man, I'm glad she's going to court finally. But, that tells us, because she was responsible for the death of her daughter. Was it like a year after Summer went missing? Not even. Wasn't it like, I can't remember. I remember the case. No, we didn't see it. It's heartbreaking, and nobody's helping her when they saw her. Like that kind of is a resemblant of our society this day and age, really. I mean, come on. This day and age, you'll see somebody with a camera watching somebody get completely, obliterated, but won't even intervene or try to stop the person that's trying to obliterate the person. It's the most insane thing. It's mob society anymore. It's insane. But hey, Justice Jane, big hug to you. I hope everything's going. Michelle, it's nice to see you. It was before Summer. Oh, was it before Summer? Which one happened after Summer? I know there was like two. Is it Megan Boswell? Maybe that. Hold on, let me look it up. I think this is the one I'm thinking. I might have the days wrong, but I think this is the mom. Didn't they find the daughter in like they found the daughter in the like the play, not the play, but like a playhouse or something like that outside. Is that right? I might have this mixed up with somebody else. Let me look at this. Evelyn Boswell. Yeah, I think so. Her father called the child in missing. Okay, so it was actually 9 months. 15-month-old Evelyn. Yeah, let me see. Is this the right one? Am I thinking of the right? A shed. It was before. Yeah, okay, it was before. So, but it was in the outside, like a shed. Okay. Yeah, because I remember hearing that. I must have had that. It's been so long. I had it confused whether it was before or after. But either way, I remember this because her father is the one that called the child in missing. Like I think at some point, wasn't it like the father, or was it her grandfather or something like that? But hadn't seen the child. She was trying to say that she. I'll read the article. But that's good. Yeah, I'll put that on the list because that's interesting. And I'd like to see, you know what, that would be a great case study to help us with the Summer Wells case. Think about it. And this is kind of right on. This happened before Summer Wells. I did just determine that it happened in 2020. We know Summer Wells went missing in 2021. Hey, Huntress. It's nice to see you, love bug. Hey. I know I'm up late. But this would be a great case to look at. It'll provide us a wealth of information. One, it's right there in the same district as Summer Wells, right? It's in Sullivan County. It's in the county over. So you will have the same kind of laws. You'll have the same kind of, the judges are, they're different and they rule different and they handle their stuff different. But you find in certain areas, you have a tendency of judges ruling certain ways on certain things, what have you. So that would be a great case for us to really watch to find out, how they're tracking them out there. Because one of the biggest things, this is where the issue lies. Over in Kingsport, you have a lot more cell phone activity and cell phone range, and you don't have as much telephone issues with your phone as you do in Hawkins County, primarily by where Don Wells and Candace Bly were living on top of the hill. But it'd be interesting even with that, like where their towers are. Like I just feel like we get a lot of good information that might be beneficial for the Summer Wells case or breaking that down. Because like I said, we're going to be going through a lot of the content that I got while I was out in Hawkins County the multiple times I've been there. Now, it's been a while. I haven't been there in over a year. To Hawkins County. Has it been over a year? I think it's been over a year. I think the last time I was back there was for Summer Wells' 1 year milestone vigil that we had at Hawkins County Sheriff Department. So, and it was great. It was fun. It was interesting. It was perfect. It really was. And we got to, we took the officers the leftover cake, and we also gave them the cards. We all signed thank you cards for them. You know, we made sure we cleaned up the area. It was really nice. And hopefully, you know, Don got an opportunity to hear us or see it and know that we were celebrating for his daughter. That was important as well, because I kind of knew that Candace and Brandis weren't going to come out. So, you know, take it to Don, right? Take it to him. So at least one parent is there, right? But that's the biggest concern for her. We're going to be diving into this case a little bit more. Hopefully we can start with a collective effort, you know, and start getting some attention and start getting this moving around social media. Maybe we can get some national news and get a spotlight on this and help find answers for her grieving mother and her daughter, her 2-year-old daughter. They need help, and we need to help them. And I hope you guys all pass this around to your favorite creators and let them know that we need to be talking about this case. And this might be one that could end really well if we really try hard. So please don't forget her name. Please don't forget her face. She needs help. And if she's in a bad situation, like, you know, ST or something like that, she absolutely needs help. She needs to be identified. Pass her face around. Make sure she's not with, you know, a horrible person doing horrible things to her. We need to find her. Hopefully, again, she just doesn't even know people are looking for her, and she's healthy and happy. But the way that this is looking right now, TBI's now involved. We're hearing getting some inside information from the Department of Justice website saying that she, you know, was in distress at some point. And so that's a little concerning for me. So this is a grave issue. If anybody's seen her, if anybody was around Americourt Hotel that might have, you know, dashboard cams, Ring doorbell cameras, we're looking, let's say June 26th through June 27th. Let's say that area, if you can go back to that footage, it might be too late. But if not, check your footage. See if you can see anything. Actually, better yet, even though you don't know what car might be important, what person walking down the street might be important. If you have something that's in and around that area, just send it over to law enforcement. You know, you never know what the nugget that they need is to find out what happened to her. But her mother is begging for help. Let's give her the help she's begging for, guys. We were able to do it for a young lady that didn't deserve it. This girl deserves it. Let's give, you know, raise our voices and raise our social media pages up for Layla. Okay, guys? I wish I had more for you guys, but I've been extremely busy. I will tell you, actually, you know what we'll go over real quick while you guys are in here, because I haven't seen you guys in a few days. It's this whole Brian Kohberger. I know we touched on it yesterday, last night, and everything like that, but there's just some things, you know, I keep reading it, and I don't know why I keep being drawn back to it, but every time I read it, I pull something more out. And this one, it says, and recognize the court has the authority to exclude witnesses. Mr. Kohberger has indicated he anticipates corroborating witnesses. So I'm not sure if she's trying to intentionally have her witnesses excluded from Brian Kohberger, so they can blame it on, you know, they didn't want to proffer an alibi, you know, maybe on an appellate thing. We were forced, we were out of the have to give up our witnesses or force us to speak when we asserted a Fifth Amendment privilege. You never know. I mean, it's all about arguing things and challenging things, and the best argument wins in these court proceedings. It also says, which we've talked about at length, was his habit of going for long drives. And I even said, how important would that be if they went to court and said, yeah, he does drive at night all the time. However, it was this specific night, that he turned his phone off. Why didn't he turn his phone off all the other times? Why didn't he have that habit all the other times? And then I also made a revelation that the defense has received something that's irrefutable that puts Brian in his car driving around that night. And that's why they finally conceded that he was in his car. They conceded he was in his car. So that removes the element of somebody else driving his car. It removes that element of someone else driving his car. There was a lot of speculation of people saying, oh, well, I bet you somebody else was driving his car. Didn't prove a thing. I don't know why people listen to some of these people. Like, I literally laugh. These people are so serious and think they know what they are talking about. And they just don't. They just don't. Even me, I get some things wrong, right? And it happens. When you're on live streams, you're going to stumble on your words. You're gonna think you said one word and yet another word came out, and you're completely oblivious to that until you hear the replay and you're like, did I say that? I meant this, right? Those happen on live streams. And even the what is it? The information, sometimes things like Brian Kohberger, when he was arrested, things were like moving so fast. In literally, I think it was like 2 minutes. We had two names that broke, and we had two names. The first one, I can't even remember the name. I want to say it was like Eric or Tyler or Scott or something. And then they're like, no, that's the wrong name. Here's the right name. And it was just moving so quickly. And everybody, I'm out there in the freezing cold. I got no internet because I'm on my phone running the phone when I have no other way of looking on there. So I relied on the people in the chat to send me stuff. So they're sending me stuff, but they got the wrong one the first time. But literally, like within 20 seconds after that, we had Brian Kohberger. And I'm looking at him like, this guy does not look like a killer. The first guy did. And he was the carjacker. The carjacker looked like the murderer, and the murderer looked like the carjacker. I don't know what's going on in the world. I just don't. But anyways, so they had to have received some evidence, because we know that there's been a tug and pull with evidence. We know that there was a lot of evidence proffered. There was 51 terabytes. Like, I've got 2 hard drives, external hard drives attached to this computer right now. And both of those are 7 terabytes. Both of those, I have a 2 terabyte and a 5 terabyte. And both of those, neither one of them are full. Probably saying, why do you have 2? Because one was for my Windows, and it has a lot of content on it. And the other one I had to buy so I could download, so I didn't lose. I had to reformat the drive. I'm not losing all that content on the one drive. So now I have them both hooked up to the computer. One to save stuff on for all the stuff. Why can't these computers just work together? Why can't they just work together? It'd make your customers' lives so much easier. We buy the products we want. We use it we want. We don't need to be bougie about it. Why be bougie? It also says corroboration of Brian Kohberger not being at the King Road property may be brought out through cross-examination of state's expert witnesses. So now they're saying, hey, I'll give up our witnesses. Now they're going to only be cross-examining the state's witnesses. This thing is the craziest thing. But I get what she's doing. I kind of see what she's doing here. And she doesn't want to answer the question. She doesn't want to answer the question. And she's in a quagmire. I mean, she really is, because it's hard for her to formulate an alibi because they're going to have an I gotcha moment. She knows they're going to have an I gotcha moment. She knows that. Like, she's already feeling it. If she wasn't feeling the I gotcha coming on, hey, what is it? Edit Twins, it's nice to see you. Big hug, big hug. So they've got him. They've definitely got, the state has produced something dead to rights to the defense counsel that proves that Brian Kohberger was in that car that night, driving around. And that's all they're willing to concede, because that's all that the state has produced to them as evidence. So far, the state has produced, without a doubt, that Brian Kohberger was in his white Elantra, driving around the time that these people were killed. And now the defense has conceded to that. So the state's one step closer to where they need to be, and the defense is one step further back than they need to be, because they just conceded a lot. Because many people, when they were speculating on this case, were speculating that Brian Kohberger was not in that car. Well, now his own defense team has stated as a record of fact that he was in that car, and he was driving that night. And he was driving that night between the times of their murders. And we know by the probable cause affidavit, he was seen in their area at the time of their murders. But again, the biggest, I think the biggest piece of evidence that the defense has in their corner right now, and I'm seeing how this is being built and why she does not want to answer the alibi, is because they have a huge window of opportunity to put somebody else in that home. From the time that Dylan Mortensen saw a guy with bushy eyebrows, from that moment to 11:58 in the morning the following day, there is a huge window to create doubt, to create another person to blame it on, i.e. Plan B. So, yeah, that's going to be the biggest plus and checkbox in the defense's, on the defensive side, is going to come down to that window. And we know it's going to come down to that window. We can already see it. Think about it. What else does Brian Kohberger and his defense team really have to hold on to at this moment? They just conceded he was in the car and driving the car around at the time that they were being murdered. We know the probable cause affidavit has followed his car all these places. We know his car was in the area at the time the murders were committed, because the probable cause affidavit puts him in his car in that area. And we just heard the defense concede that he was in the car driving his own car. So now we're working up to the time of murder. And remember, I said, I have a funny feeling, they may, depending on where the evidence lies. And if you guys, I know that most of the people in here right now have been with me since the beginning of this case. And many of you guys have heard me state that I believe what they're going to end up doing is basically saying he burglarized the home or broke into the home, but he didn't murder them. I have a funny feeling that is what's going to be said, but I don't know. I don't know. Oh, good night, JJ. It was nice having you here. So that was it. And he may not. He may try to say that we don't know. We know he was driving around his car that night. Maybe he was carjacked and the carjacker brought him his car back. We don't know at this moment. We don't know. All right, guys. If you guys want to start dropping questions, you can. I'm going to stay on here for probably another half hour. I'm just going to go through and read some of your comments. I'm just going to go up because that's one thing I don't ever get to do, but I've got some time right now. Why does she? Oh, Lord. What does it say? It was him planning and timing cameras, etc. It could be. He is a very thorough person. I'm surprised he didn't take all the cameras that are in and around the campus into account. I mean, he is part of the criminology, which basically studies the crime and the behaviors of the criminals and the behavior of the crime and the criminology part of it. It's kind of interesting because he did study BTK, which means he knows how BTK got caught and the sloppiness he did. And it seems to me that he didn't thoroughly research, the phone aspect out, the tracking aspect out. If now, I don't know. Oh, this is going to be hard for me to dance around, right? This is going to be pretty hard for me to dance around. I don't know how to quite do this. But if I were to commit the perfect murder, right? This is. But I would think that there would have been a little more research. Like, I think if I were planning something like this, I'm trying to get in that. I'm somewhat meticulous in some respects, right? I'm not. I'll leave it at that. So I'm thinking about this. So I want to go and have a thrill kill or whatever. I don't know. Let me think of a good example of something. It doesn't really matter. But you would think that if you were taking the time to plan, you would look at, maybe some trials of what evidence was admissible. You would, and we would probably hear about the pings and all this other stuff. So either way, I just think he should have done some more research. He wasn't that thorough and he wasn't that meticulous, and he made a lot of mistakes, and he made so many mistakes. Let me tell you guys how many mistakes he made. He made so many mistakes, right? This was sloppy all the way around, not just in the house, outside of the house, is driving, everything, right? He made so many mistakes. These people had, and I'm talking about these people being law enforcement, had a needle in a haystack, and they found that needle in 50 days. 50 days. People with no education can skate longer than I think Leilani. No, she was she was known well before then, but you get my drift. So anyways, guys, I just want to tell you, I hope you guys have a great evening. Happy Sunday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do tomorrow. I can tell you, Wednesday, I'll probably be live in the morning, and then that's it. I'm not sure if I'll be live in the morning on Thursday, but we'll see. But Monday and Tuesday, we'll have morning shows. Depending on how those days go, we may have at least one evening show. We'll see. We'll see what information comes out, and we'll see how extremely busy I am because I'm still doing a lot of work here on other matters. In my opinion, because he can't account for the adrenaline rush. Yeah. And not only the adrenaline rush, but think about it. You're planning something like this. So yes, the adrenaline is pump. I mean, when you start doing that, you don't even realize what is going on. Everything is just moving so fast. But I think it also that maybe he wasn't expecting some things too that threw him off his game, because when you plan something, you plan, then you get there and maybe there was only supposed to be 2 people. Maybe it was only supposed to be 1 person. And now you have 4 people. It was, maybe the whole thing wasn't supposed to go like this. Maybe it was never supposed to be 4 people. Maybe it was only going to be 1. And it ended up being 4. So your guess is as good as mine. But what if he doesn't have, maybe, what if we're assuming too much? Right? What if we're assuming because it was 4 people that he has a serial propensity? Right? What if it was just what happened inside the home? Maybe something like that did happen. Maybe he was going there because he had an infatuation with Maddie. Maddie was rude to him. He wanted to pay her back. He wanted to show her. And he gets there and realizes that Kaylee's also there. And then he hears somebody downstairs whispering, and he's like, oh crap, what am I going to do now? They got to go too. Maybe it was never supposed to be 4 people. Maybe he isn't this wannabe serial killer. Maybe he's just a murderer. And it just turned out that he ended up killing 4 people. Maybe it's a second person. Right? I mean, it really is. It really is speculation. We don't have anything. I mean, we've got some information, but we really don't know what happened. We have not gotten anything really of substance about what took place other than what was done. You know? Who knows? Who knows? Big words. Big word. Yeah. Take care, everyone. Hope to see you soon. Oh, have a good night, Ruby. Love you. God bless. There were 4 parked cars outside. It doesn't make sense. Actually, there were 5 cars out front. There was the little white car, the little blue car. There was the Range Rover. There was the Jeep, and there was the Explorer. So there was actually 5 cars outside. Is that right? I thought there was 6 cars. Maybe it was 5. Maybe it was 5. I definitely know it was a blue car, a white car, a Kaylee's car, Ethan's car, Hunter's car. So I think the cars were Xana, Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Hunter, if I'm not mistaken. I don't get that 5, respectfully. Which one? Which one? The second person, or the fact that he only was there for 1 person? Probably. I don't think he was just there for 1 person. I mean, to be honest with you, I really don't. But I mean, it's something that we didn't discuss. It's a path we never looked at. And it's something that we never really honed in on. The second person we never did either. There's 2 aspects of this case that we never really addressed. His neighbor said he would be up late hovering and moving around his steptoe apartment. Oh, I got the interview with the lady downstairs, and she told me that he was, it was frustrating sometimes for her because it wasn't just him moving around. It was him vacuuming. It was him running water. She said he kept running water. This is interesting too. The neighbor downstairs she indicated that he ran water late at night, which seemed weird. Is that because, maybe he had an OCD, an obsession, a compulsion of some sort? I do remember that. And Christy, it was a little bit, it's been a little while until you said that. I almost forgot about that interview, but I remember, because I remember it was hard to understand her. It was hard to understand her. G-Wagon. Oh my gosh. What is up with you guys in the G-Wagon? That's all Olivia talks about. She wants a G-Wagon too. I'm like, what the heck is a G-Wagon? She's like, you don't know what a G-Wagon is? I said, no. She's like, it's a Mercedes-Benz. She's like, it's a specific model. I'm like, yeah, that's probably why I don't know. That's too bougie for me. I could have $1 million and still not want to drive around in a Mercedes Benz. I still think it would be close to impossible to carry out by one person. Yeah, well, I shouldn't. I think because I've seen a lot of craziness that in my mind, it's not impossible. But I understand that argument. And it is not an avenue that we really spoke about. And I'm trying to gauge what the defense is going to be. And as I am speculating on the potential trial strategy for the defense, it's hard for me not to think about this second person or what the possibility would be to try to explain the DNA on the knife sheath and, some other peculiar but dismissed, information in the case. So it is possible. I think at this point it needs to be explored because I have a funny feeling it's definitely going to be on display by the defense. And we have not discussed it. We haven't discussed the possibility of a second person being involved in this, but we're going to have to, because we know it's a probability. It's probable that the defense is going to be bringing the possibility of another person into the mix, because that is really the only way they're going to explain that Brian didn't do it. Somebody else had to have. Who? It would have to be somebody that knew Brian if his DNA is on the knife sheath. Somebody that maybe didn't like him, planted his DNA on the knife sheath. He did work for a criminology, he was a criminology major and he was a TA, right? For one of the criminology professors. Could one of the students hated him enough? Maybe it was, we can speculate all day long, right? We really could. We could speculate all day long. But anyways, this is going to be interesting, but I do think that there is a strong probability that they are going to be introducing a plan B, which is a different person, another person to point the finger at. And it's either going to be one of two things. Well, one of many things. But I think a second person involved or an alter person is involved in this. And we're going to have to look at that. I don't know what else to say. I think it's a probability that it would be brought up in the defense. And it's something we've never addressed. So I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse. We're going to have to look into that respect. If you guys know who Brian Kohberger, or you guys have been reading, you guys know you guys have a lot more eyes than I do, right? I only have 2. You guys collectively, we have 220 people in here times 2. That's almost 450 people, 440 people, right? 440 eyes. 40 eyes, not people. That can look. So if you guys know of anybody that was hanging out with Brian in and around that time, or you guys are reading an article of a friend that he was, hanging out with, looking, or somebody that maybe you guys heard in the rumor mills that totally disliked Brian Kohberger. Maybe you wanted to set him up, right? Let's look at that. We need to. I have a funny feeling it's going to be brought up. I don't know why, but I do. Let's see what else we got. I think that's it. Anything else, guys? Anything anybody wants to get off their chest? Everybody doing well this Sunday? If defense will bring up a second person, will the state be aware of the identity before it goes to court? They have to. That's why they're pushing. A lot of people don't realize the reason why they're pushing so hard for Brian to provide an alibi is because they're going to have to cross-examine those witnesses that are associated with his alibi. They're going to have to confirm that his alibi holds water. The prosecution is entitled to that as well. Discovery just doesn't go one way; it goes both ways. So the defense is going to be, they need that. And in all fairness, they truly do need that. You cannot prepare to cross-examine a person on the witness stand or anything like that without having a conversation with them, knowing what they have to offer. And you know, you've got to be able to interview them and see what they have and request, you know, documents from them in this case that might be pertinent or of evidentiary value for the state. So there's a lot of reasons why it is necessary for the alibi, for Brian to give the alibi. He needs to give them something or forfeit the experts that are going on his side, or the witnesses that would be assisting him in showing his alibi. They can exclude those people if they're not provided to the state in enough time to be able to interview them and do what they need to do for discovery. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Anyways, guys, oh, before I leave, I got to get better about this. So Yorkie Mama 7 has been a member for 9 months. God bless you. Thank you so much for being a member of this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club. I love it. I absolutely love it. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow morning. So we will be back. It's 10 o'clock, way past my bedtime, and I still have to get a shower. So God bless each and every one of you. I can tell you we're not going to be up at the crack of dawn just by the time it is, because usually I'm in bed like 2 hours before this. So I'm definitely 2 hours behind schedule. So, all right, guys. I love you. God bless you. Have a great Sunday night. I don't know what just happened. It's not playing. Let me try it again.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.